Hello everybody and welcome to Red Puts Art in Your Face. I'm glad to have you guys here. Just one second. Is it in my drafts or did I put it? Oh no, I put it in my queue, didn't I? Yeah. Unless it's already posted. Let's find out. I already posted it. Oops. Alright, well. Hi everybody. Welcome to Red Puts Art in Your Face. I know it's been a while. It's my bad. But I'm hoping today's gonna be pretty fun. I'm not doing bots for once, or at least I'm not doing regular old bots. I'm not doing robot bots. I am doing something kind of just for fun. Basically just for me to have something to do. Because it's I'm feeling a little enthused about it, so I've been working on it. And it's this fantasy AU I've kind of been putting together with a few friends. So it's not regular Transformers, it's like human Transformers but in a magical medieval fantasy AU. So that's what I'm doing. One of them is an OC and the other one is Megatron, so I thought I would work on both of them today. I've kind of, like, I'm not doing anything like real crazy with them. I'm mostly just doing like line art and base colors and then that's it, because I'm not, like, it's not a commission and it's not for my blog, so I'm just kind of like, even the sketchy star screens, I mean, I don't color those or anything. So it's like, I'm not gonna put in quite as much effort as I would for like a commission or something that I know that's gonna really expand my profile. I might go back and shade and fine tune them later, but for now it's just like, here's some line art, here's some color, and I'm done. So that's what I'm doing. And I also kind of wanted to do them today because I kind of wanted to show how I design fantasy outfits and cultures and characters and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. So let's just get into it. All right, here we go. So yeah, so let me zoom out here. So the first character is actually my OC Red Strike, and he is from Eucharis, which if you're familiar with the IDW Transformer comics, you'll know as the Beachformers planet. And in this medieval AU, it's kind of this jungly empire filled with beast people, because that just made sense to me. And when I went about designing outfits for the different beast characters in the AU, I was like, why don't I do something that I think would be fun and interesting? And I kind of went with an idea of like, what if I mixed together Aztecs and Egyptians, because they both have like fairly similar cultures. They both were heavily based around sun worship and annual floods, and they kind of have like similar designs with their clothing. When you look at them, they have the really heavy belts and these skirts that kind of like flow this way, so from the waist outward. And they both have fairly similar, like, beginning parts of their headdress designs are kind of similar. Not much, but a little bit. And Aztecs, you know, they had a lot of really big, bright feathers, because they would use birds of paradise in their headdresses, and whereas the Egyptians would have lots of jewelry and precious stones, because they were really big with the mineral wealth. So, but the one thing they also had in common was a lot of gold, and they also had lots of arm decoration. So you have like arm beadery and work for the Aztecs that you also get for the Egyptians, and I really like that. So I thought I might combine a little bit of the two when I was working on my design. Hey! Nice to meet you, or nice to see you. Yeah, so basically that's what I was going off of when I was doing my design. So the headdress is a little bit of an Egyptian mixed with Aztecs. You get the feathers and the big, like, jewelry accessories on the sides of the Aztec headdresses. And then in the front, you have more an Egyptian aspect. And there's a little bit of some Hindu aspects in there mixed in as well, just because Red Strike's bot design took a lot from, hi, Seaberry, from some traditional Indian designs. When I say Indian, I don't mean like Native American. I mean like from India. I want to make that very clear. Anyway, so that's kind of what I went off of when I was designing the outfits and like the culture. And the other thing that the Aztecs and the Egyptians had in common was they both built pyramids. And in Egypt, you had, you know, the step pyramids that eventually became the regular pyramids. But when you look at the pyramids without their limestone coverings, they had steps. It was just they were more refined. And, you know, the Aztecs had pyramids as well. So, well, I know that the Mayans were really the ones who, like, built pyramids, but the Aztecs did as well. So I kind of like that, and I like that there's these similarities in these cultures that took place on totally different continents. So I like kind of building that up a little bit when I do my designs. And I really like mixing cultures when I do designs for fantasy, because that way it looks similar, but not similar enough they can be like, oh, that's all from this specific culture. Although very clearly there's a lot of Egyptian, like, you can tell where some influences come from. Like when you look at Lord of the Rings, you can look at some of the designs and go, oh, that's clearly European, or, you know, oh, they clearly had a little bit of Asian design when they were working on some of the costumes. Like, you can see some of that, but it's never very overt. And it's the same with stuff like when you look at Dragon Age, especially the Orlesians. Like, the Orlesians are very French, but the clothing for the Orlesians is so Venetian. It's kind of funny to me, because every time I pointed that out, my friends are like, oh no, it's so French. And I'm like, well, no, but like the mask thing and the way that the corsets are, that's not French. French corsets, when this is I'm using Manga Studio and my UG tablet. I don't have a drawboard. I wish I did. Like, I wish I had a much better tablet, but I cannot afford one, so I'm stuck with my UG tablet, which I really like. I don't really have a problem with it. I think my main problem is just that I have a lot of tightness and soreness in my joints, because when I was younger, I had a lot of hand injuries that never got treated properly, and it's kind of resulted in a lot of like joint pain. So like I'm trying to get a little bit more refined when I do my digital artwork, and it's the same with my like more traditional stuff, like when I do my charcoal paintings, because I have had a few of those, and I started off doing like impressionistic paintings. Like, they're all over my mom's place, but a lot of that stuff, the whole reason why I started doing impressionistic is because I had a lot of hard time doing like really fine detail stuff, because my hands would just like suffer so much. I would just like be in so much pain. So I kind of started to just do thicker lines because it was easier on my hands, and so that's why I know it kind of like seems like a lot of my digital work just comes out looking a little bit cartoonish, and that's mostly because like I just have a really hard time getting through really hard detail stuff, and really my line art gets really shaky if I go too thin with my lines, because I know there's this like idea online that the thinner lines the better. And I know a lot of people have success when they do that. I just don't particularly happen to be one of those people. And when I was going through school with my art teacher, one of the things he said was, thick or thin lines, it doesn't really matter so long as the final product looks good and is in proportion. It won't really matter what your lines initially started off as, especially since when you do thin lines, you end up doing just about as much sketching as you do with thick lines. It's just better to start off with thin lines when you're doing like your initial sketches, because that way you can refine it later. And a lot of times when you see my thick lines in a sketchy Starscream, that's because I'm just not going back and refining it as much as I would with something like this. Because this is a really base sketch. I'm not even done with it yet. I'm still adding all the fine details and stuff. But when I'm done with it, I'm hoping it'll look a little bit more like this. This was a little bit of a quicker sketch that I did earlier today. This is my design for Megatron, which has a few more influences from a couple of other cultures. Like when I was doing the designs, I was asking the people playing the other characters what they would like, and my friend Tiny Doc, who is playing Megs, really liked the idea of him being in like the Spartan man panties from 300, and I was like, yeah, okay. And the more I was thinking about it, because we kind of put him up north, I was thinking about, okay, so what would he be wearing if, it wasn't like the summertime and he wasn't warm, and that kind of thing. And I was started to think about like really cold cultures and that sort of thing. So I did kind of a mixture of ancient Spartans, so Greek and Mongolian, as well as some Scandinavian influences. So if I take that away, which I think is, yeah, that's the right layer, you can kind of see where I have some of the Scandinavian influences, which is in this shirt vest thing here. And this is definitely more Spartan with this like robish throw over. The belt is a little bit of a mixture of Mongolian and Scandinavian and Spartan. And then we get into the pants, which are definitely more Scandinavian in design. And then this shirt here is more Mongolian. And then we get to the boots, which are a little bit mixture of both. These are my more refined lines, because I'll go in with my G pen on a much finer layer and a much thinner line, and actually go in and work with it that way. But when I'm starting off, I tend to get kind of heavy when I sketch. And I tend to do a little bit of a thicker line with my pencil than I do with my pen. And I don't tend to change the settings when I do stuff like a sketchy Starscream, because I'm just trying to get those out as fast as possible, and I'll do those in like, I'll get the sketch done in like, I want to say like half an hour or something. And then when I go to do the rest of it, it takes me like, I want to say an hour to 2 hours at most to do like the final line sketching and the shading, because I don't really do anything other than that. Like, I might color in his eyes and like some little details, like if he's blushing or something, but I normally don't do that much detail, because it's a badly drawn blog, so I'm not trying to do a lot of detail. It's just there to help me practice to draw faster. Not trying to like reinvent the wheel when I do my sketchy Starscreams. I'm just trying to get something fun out. It's a way for me to practice my expressions and a way for me to just have fun. When I'm doing something for myself that's more, I'm trying to put some actual effort into it, I do stuff more like this. And I'm actually doing a few things different on these sketches that I haven't really quite done in the past, because there's a few things that I wanted to try out and practice. Just for fun. And So I kind of like doing that kind of thing. So I wanted to give Red'sBirthday here some more refined features. And then these are going to be his feathers. And when I go in, I'll add, with my pen tool, I'll add a little bit more detail there. So now that I've gotten most of the finer details done, I don't need these anymore. These was what I was using for reference. Because I have like a book on fashion history, but that requires me getting up and figuring out which fashion history book the really ancient stuff is in, and then which one will actually have the crap the stuff I need, and then which one is like, which one is gonna have like big enough pictures, and do I have to draw big out both? Maybe I named my blog Too Badly Drawn because I am not that good. But whatever. Well, the thing about Badly Drawns is one of the things I like about them is it kind of pulls together like people who just kind of doodle as a hobby for fun, and people who are actual artists who are just looking to do something fun that helps them practice and get out a little bit of art every day, without overtaxing themselves. And I kind of like that because I got to tell you, recently I found out that one of my favorite blogs actually inspired me to get into being a badly drawn blog. I recently found out that she was in a Discord chat I've been chatting to her, and I had a freak out moment because for me it was kind of like learning that I had been next door neighbors to like Elijah Wood or like, I don't know, Hugh Jackman or somebody like really famous, and like I hadn't noticed, and it freaked me out, and I absolutely went total batshit. I was like, oh my god, I know you, I love you, you're so cool, oh my god, your art is so amazing. And she's like, I'm really not that great. I'm like, I swear to god, I love your stuff so much. And I had a little bit of a freak out moment. I was like, your stuff is so good, I can't believe you get it out so fast. So like, there's always going to be somebody in the art world that you think does art better than you can. I've noticed. And you just have to like take everything in stride and just accept that, you're not always going to be the best one out there, but you can be proud of your own work regardless. And I'm proud of my work. Now. I didn't always used to be, but I've done therapy. And also, just kind of like through working with my psychologist, determined that I can be proud of whatever I'm doing, and whatever improvements I've made, I can be proud of that. And if I know that I'm doing my best to get better and I see improvement, then that's enough for me. So I just kind of accept that. I draw for hobby, but I have open commission because, and yeah, that's fine too. I have open commissions because like I don't really have any other way to make money at the moment right now, and you know what? For me, drawing kind of started off as a hobby too, so I'm certainly not going to begrudge anybody who's like, oh, I only draw for a hobby, but I do commissions. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I'm certainly not going to be like, no, you can't do that. You're not a real artist, blah, 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 blah. If you do art, you're a real artist, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I gotta tell you, like, one of my favorite badly drawn blogs is Badly Drawn Brainstorm, just because their humor is so great. Every time they make a post, I end up just cracking up, and I was like, I wish I was that funny. I'm like, oh god, I wish I knew how to, like, be just that absurdly funny. It's just so great. I love their stuff. So yeah, like, everyone's going to enjoy something different about your stuff, and I would never, like, sell yourself short, Like, you do have to be willing to, like, take critiques and learn and grow as you go along, but I think there's a difference between accepting critiques and just having somebody basically like mess with you or like be mean to you like on purpose. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So funny because I love snakes. I always have the hardest time drawing them. Especially when I'm going all small. I'm like, shit, I hope that looks like a snake. I think it's just because like the snakes in my area aren't what people would normally think of when they think of snakes, because they don't really get a hood. You know, they have like rattle tails, but their heads are all diamonds. Like it's just, you know, like rattlesnakes and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's like you get pale you get whip snakes and or you know I'm gonna say like rope snakes, and they actually do like look exactly like ropes. So all right, so yeah, when I was doing this and the thing is I love doing fantasy so much. Like, I love doing fantasy drawings the most. I think it's just because you can kind of go a little bit kooky as far as, like, both the outfit design and, like, hair design and other stuff is concerned when it comes to fantasy characters. And I think that's why I enjoy drawing them so much. Them and aliens. I like drawing aliens because I realized very early on, it's an alien! Who the hell cares about perspective, because it's an alien. It's not gonna have human proportions. So I just kind of decided that aliens were fun to draw because I could draw them however I want. It's just like, it's an alien. They don't have human proportions. Some of like my earliest like better drawings were when I just decided I didn't care anymore. I was just gonna draw an alien just for the hell of it. And I ended up like really loving that design. I really love working on alien stuff. It's like a lot of fun. You just don't, when you like decide that you just don't care anymore. I've kind of discovered that that's normally when people do their best work, is when they just stop caring what other people think. Because like I gotta tell you, like most of the time, so long as it looks good to me, I don't really care what other people think about it. I'm like, well, I think it looks good. Like, if it's an honest critique where it's like, look, your thing is a little shaky here, blah, 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 blah. Like, obviously I'm going to take that under advisement and try to grow as an artist. But, like, sometimes I sit there and like, I don't give a shit. This is just for fun. I think the worst was when I was actually, because I went to art school, and my the major I ended up getting was in creative writing, but I started off with a major in illustration. So when I first went to college, I was taking a lot of illustration classes, and one of the first things I learned, because those were the first art classes I had ever really taken. I took one art class at community college. And when I was little, my mom dated this art teacher who took me to a lot of art museums, and he taught me how to do like impressionistic and work with oil paintings and stuff. But like, that was the extent of my art practice, was like self-taught stuff. Was like, I would take how to draw books and like go to art museums, and I had like an elements of design class I took, but that was just all Photoshop work, and for the most part we didn't actually have to like do anything original in that class, and most of the time that class was just me trolling on the internet. I'm gonna be honest, like I spent a lot of that class just doing homework for other classes and catching up on webcomics, and that was about it. So, when I finally actually did go to art school, those were the first real art classes I had ever taken in my entire life. I didn't take a single art class, really, in high school. Like I said, it was just that elements of design class, which was just nothing but Photoshop. The rest of the time, it was all, like, writing classes and history classes and that kind of stuff. And honestly, I've always been more invested in the story than anything else as far as when it comes to my hobbies and the things I enjoy. So when I went to school and I went to these illustration classes for the first time, one of the first things I learned was that all artists self-project initially, and you have to break yourself of that habit. I learned this because subsequently in the course of 2 days, I had one of my friends who took a couple of my classes with me point out that all of the characters I was drawing had hands and feet that were way too small, their legs were a little bit too small, and their torsos were really long. And then immediately after this, I had a figure modeling class, which is when you sit in a room with a model. And this is going to sound initially like a lot of other art classes I took during this time period. But this one was different because instead of drawing, you worked with clay. And my clay models kept coming out with very long torsos and short limbs. And I was getting made fun of from one of the other friends in the class I had, who I was kind of cracking up about. And I was like, laughing. Can people donate to you? People like me, maybe. Because here it is 0032 and the shops aren't open. Oh, yeah, we have a Patreon. If you're really interested, it's at, the links are normally always posted beneath our Twitch stream. So we do have a Patreon. We also have a Teespring shop if you'd like to support us there. We also, the best thing you can do is really like subscribe, either on here or on YouTube. That really helps us out a lot as well. We're looking at setting up a coffee for me. We haven't done it quite yet, but it's on our list of things to do, so that'll be the next thing probably that happens. But yeah, so in the meantime, yeah, I have a Patreon. You can also contact me about doing a commission, and I normally accept payment for that through PayPal. Of course, that requires contacting me first. Yeah, so where was I? Oh, right. So I was in this figure modeling class, and it was making fun of me for my sculpture because it had a long torso, and my friend kept saying, "Johnny, long torso, Johnny, long torso," and I'm like, "You're such a jerk." And my teacher pointed out that the reason why I kept doing that was because I am weirdly proportioned as a human being. Because at least in my art school, what they taught me was that as far as proportion goes for human beings, your hands and feet should normally be around the same size as your face. Your feet should go from your chin to the top of your head, and your hand should go from the bottom of your chin to the middle of your forehead. My hands and feet don't do that. My feet are so small that they are my normal hand, are like what people's normal hand proportions should be, and my hands reach to just the top of my nose. Like, my hands are very small. The further away you get from my torso, the smaller things get. I am very weirdly proportioned. And my figure modeling teacher pointed this out, and I was like, that's weird. Like, I don't know how to feel about that. And he's like, so it's just, it's just a habit you have to break as an artist, is you have to, like, grow out of self-projecting into every, drawing that you do. And I will still sometimes catch myself doing that and being like, oh no, I drew that hand way too small. So, you know, yeah, he was kind of a weird teacher. He was a really cool guy, though. He had a lot of sculptures at my building, because I went to the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, and they had these galleries just all over the place, and they'll have like teachers' work next to student work, and all of the teachers were actual professionals in their field. That's why I really love the school. And my teacher, his work was all over the sculpture building, and his sculptures were so weird. They look really cool, but they were really weird. They were like, he would actually paint them and then use like, I want to say like wax or like plastic to make them look lifelike, but they were all super cartoony. So it's like, that's really weird. It's cool. He was a cool guy, but it was also really weird. So the whole time I was just like, this is the weirdest teacher I've ever had in my entire life. He's a cool guy. He's a weird teacher. Because I've had other teachers that seem like totally normal, and really they're just immense assholes. It really depends. Like, teachers are people. I should know this. Both of my parents were teachers, and also my aunt, and also my other aunt. Okay, bye. Good night. Sleep tight. I will definitely sketch some more Starscream soon. The only reason why I haven't lately is because I came back from my mom's house and I needed to decompress. Because it's always a little bit stressful to go to my mom's. So I just needed a little bit of time to myself after I got back. And then I got distracted. But I should be working on some sketchy Starscreams here again soon. Oh yeah, so like, yeah, both of my parents were teachers. All of their friends are teachers. And teachers are just people, guys. They're just people. Like, they can fuck up as much as like regular people. Like, they're also just like decent sorts most of the time. I'm not gonna say like I don't know bad teachers. I've certainly had and known bad teachers. Like I had one in 5th grade who didn't really do any work. He basically let the older students just do whatever the hell they wanted. And like, if he had this like stupid system of turning your homework into the mayor of your table, who would then turn it into these piles on another table. And if your paper somehow got lost in between them there, or it got mixed into one of the other piles, even if you turned in your homework correctly to the mayor of your table, if they didn't turn it in correctly, he would count it as missing and give you a 0, which is what happened. And up to this point, I had never gotten a bad grade in my entire life. I had straight A's. I was GATE qualified, back when that mattered. You know, I was a very smart kid, very diligent. I did all of my homework, like all this stuff. And then all of a sudden my grades started to plummet because I didn't really have any friends in the class. And I had pissed off the teacher's friend because I had, this was the second teacher I had in my 5th grade. I went through 3 teachers in 5th grade. The first one, I have no PC with that program, by the way. I only draw a sketch, then I draw the line, and a little bit bigger, and whoop, I'm done, but mine's never so good like this. Hey, that's fine too, because like, I stopped drawing by hand, but that's only, I stopped doing like pencil drawings, but that's only because I realized I could save money and save paper by doing digital drawings instead. So that's literally the only reason why I switched to digital. Also, I got Manga Studio, which is so much better than Photoshop. But if I didn't have Manga Studio, using Fire Alpaca, which doesn't take up a lot of room on your computer, is also great. I love Fire Alpaca. It's a great system. It's got a lot of stuff, and it's got a lot of stuff that Manga Studio doesn't have that I haven't figured out yet. Like there's a thing it's got that helps you create GIFs, but I've never been good at animation, so I'm like I'm nervous to like play with those settings. Someday I will suck it up and actually try that out. So I had like 3 teachers in 5th grade, and it started off with this one who, if you didn't push in your chair, he would take it away from you. This is in 5th grade, so I'm like, so everyone's like, what, 10? We're all very forgetful, idiot kids. So of course we're gonna forget to push in our chairs sometimes. And like, the worst part about it for me was like other kids who like push in their chairs, like they would be fine because they could still see. But I've always been like super aggressively short, like just obscenely short. I'm only 5'1" now, and back in 5th grade I was even smaller. I stopped growing when I was 12, so you can kind of imagine I'm sitting on the floor. I can't see crap above the desk, so my grades started to suffer that way. And my mom was like, I am paying taxes and the school, don't put my kid on the floor. Like, she came to the principal because she was friends with the principal, and she's like, look, I heard that this teacher's been putting my kid on the floor. I want that to stop happening because she can't see the board. She's too short. Stop putting my kid on the floor. And so he kind of did it, but then it kept happening. And my mom was like, okay, so I'm going to take you out of this class because, F this guy. And she put me in the other 2, and there was only like 2 other 5th grade teachers at that school. And one of them I really didn't want to take because all of his kids were kind of like the disciplinary problem children. And I was like, nope, I'm afraid of that class. I don't want to go. I'm a nerd. Please don't put me in that class. Mom was like, okay, so we'll put you in the 3rd and they're the, I want to say the 4th and 5th grade class, the combined class. And that was the one where the teacher was like, yeah, you turn your homework into the mayor of the table, but if he puts it in the wrong pile, I'm going to count it missing. It was really stupid. And my mom didn't believe me. And this is like the start of where everything went wrong for me was 5th grade. Basically what ended up happening was my mom didn't believe me. We started to get into fights. She started to like throw things at me. This is actually when like the emotional abuse started. And she like stopped listening to me basically when I would tell her what this teacher was doing, like how he wasn't actually teaching in the class. He was just kind of letting the 5th graders run the class, and I wasn't learning anything. And my mom didn't believe me. She thought I just was not turning in my work and that I was lying to her. So what ended up happening is she didn't believe me until my sister came in and sat in on the class and was like, no, this guy taught them absolutely nothing. And everything that Red has been saying is true. So my mom was like, well, crap. And she didn't want to put me in with any of the other 5th grade teachers at the school because they were kind of cliquey. And at this point, I'd gone through 2 of them. So my mom was like, okay, screw this. We're just going to send you to the gate qualified school all the way across the town. Because I'm a little sick and tired of these people. So I wound up going my last semester of 5th grade. I was at a completely different school. I'd made brand new friends. I mean, it was better. Still not great. Yeah. So that's what happened. I had a lot of fun though, because I definitely had more fun in that class because it was geared toward kids who were gate qualified. So you had the more advanced stuff going on. So my teacher knew that my reading comprehension skills were at college level in 5th grade. They had been for like 2 years already. So she was basically like, yeah, here's some really like hard books. Read these. Do a book report on that. And I'm like, yeah. I did a video book report on one of them. It was great. I should really post that on the internet at some point because it's just so funny. No, yeah, so I wound up having a good time, even though I started to get bullied at that point. Like, yeah, a lot of my stories, they start out really cutesy, and then you think about it for a minute, and you're like, oh. But, yeah, I had a good time once I switched schools. So, it's not like I haven't known bad teachers. Like, there's another teacher I had in middle school who would go into the back room, and I thought he was just, like, grading papers or, like, taking a nap or something during the class period, the 2 class periods that I had him for. And he basically just ignored the class, and, like, it left me to the devices of these really mean girls who would, like, make fun of me and, like, tear pages out of my notebook and read my angsty teen poems aloud to the rest of the class. Basically berated me and all this other crap. And I thought, like, that was just the worst of it, and that, like, he was just a neglectful teacher. But it turns out, like, he was actually a pedophile who was, like, doing terrible things to other kids in the back room when I was being tortured by those girls. I'm like, okay, so he was just a terrible person and a terrible teacher, like, the full way around. Good to know. That's also not the only time I have had occasion to be around a pedophile, which sounds weird and terrible, because it is. Yeah. There's also the time my mom basically handed me off to a guy she thought was a pedophile, so that he would take me to see a movie that she didn't want to go see. And, yeah, I mean, nothing happened. Although he did try to put his hand on my leg, which was weird and creepy. But, I mean, thankfully nothing happened because my mom was also still technically in the theater. So, thank God. Yeah, like, that's just the kind of level of, like, utter weird bullcrap I had to go through as a child. Yeah. I was mob/bullied by all the others, and the teacher were on their other side. It was every time my fault, and yeah. I mean, yeah, like, this stuff happens to a lot of people, and it's awful. The most I can say is that, like, yeah, like, I just gotta tell you that, like, for me, I learned that there were more people on my side than I thought, and that even if, you know, all these people were terrible to me, that didn't mean that I was a terrible person or that I deserved that treatment. Although I do gotta say that, like, middle school really sucked. And so, yeah, it's just, you know, you gotta realize that those people, what they're doing, it's not really because of you. They're doing it because they're insecure in their own lives. And I know that's, like, it sounds so much like a platitude, but you know what, it really is. Like, people ultimately are fairly self-involved. Like, even the most selfless people are really kind of thinking of themselves first. So it really is less about you and more about them. So, you know, if someone is terrible to you, you know, tell someone, definitely document it, like, reiterate, and like, try to get yourself heard. I know it's hard when the faculty isn't on your side, because I've definitely been on the end result of, like, the faculty not believing me, or siding with, my abusers. I've definitely had that situation. So I know how tough it can be. Yeah. I ended up choosing later in life to go to a psychologist myself because I'd been to therapy, but it was always on my mom's insistence, and it was kind of like this implication of I'm not doing well in school, so obviously I must have ADD or ADHD. And I got tested, and of course I didn't have it. And the main reason why I was suffering was because I was being bullied, and I had depression, and I was suicidal, and had all this other crap going on. And also that I was and bi gender, and so I was going through that bullshit, not knowing what the hell it was or like what it meant, and basically freaking out because like the area I grew up in was very conservative, so I had that going on too. So all I can say is that there's a lot of people out there that love and appreciate you, and it's a lot more than you'd think. And you know what? If you're seeking help, that's great. That is a great first step. I know that when I saw my psychologist, I got a lot better, and I'm a much better person now than I was before therapy. So, yeah, it's all like mental health is just another health issue. If you're sick, you go to the doctor. If you have mental health issues, you go to a doctor. It's just the same thing. There shouldn't be a stigma around it. Excuse me. Because, I mean, a lot of people have mental health issues, so you're definitely not alone. Yeah, anyway. So getting off that depressing topic. Right, so now what I'm doing is basically going in and I am adding in details with my pen tool. And I'm trying to use as few lines as possible. I tend to find it's better to draw from your shoulder than by using your wrist. That's, again, another thing that I learned in art school. You draw from your shoulder, not from your wrist. And that'll actually, like, spare you some joint issues. And I definitely try, but the only problem is like, again, I have some severe joint issues, so I can't always get things down as much as I would like. And regardless of my technique, I'm still causing issues for all of my joints. Okay. Yeah. So. Right. Now the neat thing that I was looking at with the Aztec designs was that they had kind of this geometric pattern to them, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, I would like to do that when I do this, so. Kind of starts off like that, and then you just kind of go in like this. So it kind of has a geometric pattern, but it's hidden behind all the other dots. So I thought that was kind of neat, because it's kind of like a trick to the eye. And it's a bit like leopard spots. So that's what I think is kind of cool. And I did take this like history of fashion class when I went to the Academy of Art University. One of the things I learned from it was that the Egyptians, because they worshipped the sun, their clothing actually tended to reflect that. So a lot of their designs kind of, for clothing, when they were working with linen, they tend to look like the rays of the sun coming down. So I kind of thought that was neat. And, with Aztecs, they also, they had a lot of gods, but they were also kind of like sun worshippers. So I thought that was neat that, you have these two cultures from different sides of the world who have some similar beliefs. And, their clothing kind of actually has some similar aspects in that regard, so I kind of like that. I think that's kind of neat. Everyone says they're weird. I think everyone is, like, a little bit weird. I don't think there's actually a thing called, like, normal. I think people invented normal just to, like, exclude other people. Everybody's weird. No one is normal. Everyone's got something about them that they think is weird. Let's be honest. Yeah, so I'm just kind of, like, trying to get the, like, sun ray aspect of the linen down while I add these lines without actually interfering with the stuff I've already drawn. There we go. That's better. Let's see. I finally finished Star Trek Voyager, which was fun. Definitely my favorite Star Trek so far. I haven't finished Deep Space Nine or Enterprise yet, but, like, I started them, and I got to season 4 of Deep Space Nine before I was just like, we have to go back to the Klingons being enemies? Didn't we do this in the original series? I'm kind of tired of the Klingons being the bad guys. Or, like, being those people that we don't understand. And, oh no, they're violent, blah, 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 blah. How backward are they? But, oh, you know, we used to be like that, so we shouldn't judge, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my god, we've done this. We've done this a million times. The cool thing about Deep Space Nine was that we had new people to do this with in new and different ways. They were called the Cardassians, and I like them. Why aren't we doing more of that bullshit? So the thing is, like, I like the Klingons. I don't like them as much as I like the Vulcans, but I like the Klingons, and I'm annoyed that we're always using them as, like, the villains. I'm like, I mean, there's other freaking villainous, quote-unquote, races in Star Trek that we could use. I mean, there's always the Romulans. The Romulans are just basically evil Vulcans. That's what makes them so cool. We could definitely always use the Romulans again, but no, it has to be the freaking Klingons, because, you know, we haven't rehashed this enough. I don't know. I haven't seen Discovery either. I should probably put that out there. That's because it's on that CBS only thing, and I don't have cable. I also don't have the CBS streaming channel. So, yeah, I haven't been able to watch Discovery. From what I've heard, though, it's not like a lot of the other Star Treks. It's, like, more action-y based, which feels weird, because, like, that's not really the point of Star Trek. The point of Star Trek was that it was high-concept sci-fi, not actiony, like, sci-fi stuff. Like, there could be action, but for the most part, it was, we're gonna do some forward thinking now, and also have some drama. And that's what I liked about it. You know, Battlestar Galactica, that was the one where you had all the action. Also Star Wars. And that's the good thing about Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica, was that, you know, those were the more actiony sci-fi stuff, and then you had Star Trek, which was the more like drama based. And that was the good thing about it, was because it was basically a sci-fi soap opera. It was just so great, but it was so forward thinking, and that was the best part. And I'm still mad that there's not, like, more gay characters in Star Trek. It's supposed to be more forward thinking. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of like cinematic firsts and stuff for Star Trek. Like, they did do the first interracial kiss and have the first black female character that was not a maid. So I gotta give that to them. Also, they had this really amazing Hallmark episode in the 80s having to do with trans issues that I really enjoy. It was a great episode. They did it at least 30 years before the Orville, and they did it a million times better than the Orville. I might still be mad about the Orville. Seriously, Orville, what the fuck? That was not the episode to do moral relativism with. The moral relativism episode is not the episode we're also doing gender / gay issue nonsense. That should not be the same episode. It shouldn't. I'm sorry, but it's not. No, it's too many things. And then you're gonna, like, drop the ball on one of them, and it's always gonna be the one that you shouldn't drop the ball on. And lo and behold, it was the one you shouldn't drop the ball on. I don't know. I'm just annoyed. In case you can't tell, I don't like the Orville. I tried watching it. I did. But then I got to, like, I want to say, like, the third episode, or whatever episode where they, like, did the weird, stupid gender nonsense, and I was like, nope, don't like this. Star Trek did it 20 years ago, and it was better. It was much better. Like, there were ways to have done this that were not this. This is bad. I don't like this. I'm gonna say no. So, yeah. I don't care if people like that's the other thing, is, like, I never care if someone likes something that I don't like. Like, that's fine. Just don't expect me to also like the thing. And, like, if you're trying to get me involved in it, just understand that it's gonna be an uphill battle because, you know, I have legit reasons for not liking stuff that I don't like. I mean, everyone does, but, you know, I too have legit reasons for not liking things. For instance, I don't like Rung / Fortmax as a couple because I'm just putting this out there. It feels wrong that Rung would get in a relationship with a guy that held him hostage and tore off his thumb. Like, I realized he was going through a psychological break, but that's not really an excuse. It's an explanation, but it's not an excuse. I don't know who Blackout is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who Blackout is. I haven't seen all of Cyberverse. I need to watch more Cyberverse. I also haven't seen the Armada series. Like, I keep thinking I'm gonna go watch it, but then I don't. But, I've seen... Oh, I also have missed, like, a bunch of, Robots in Disguise 2015. Because there was, like, this whole season that, came out later, and I missed it, because it wasn't available on Netflix, and I don't have cable anymore. Yeah. So I haven't seen it. It was on Disney, and, you know, Disney started to take their stuff off Netflix, like, right around the time that that show came, like, that season came out, so I'm like, ah, crap. The bot with the nukes to punish and enslave. Nope. Not ringing a bell. I also missed, like, some of the IDW comics because I came in fairly late. I read all of Lost Light, and I read a lot of, and I read pretty much in the 5th film. Oh! Are we talking about the live-action films? I've seen the first one and the new Bumblebee one, and that's it, because I don't really like Michael Bay. Like, again, if you like that stuff, that's cool, but I'm not big on the Michael Bay films. I just basically let my roommate explain them to me and just go, okay, cool. I have not really seen the live-action films. I've seen the first one, and I was like, nope, I'm done. This is exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Thanks, Michael Bay. I hate you. Just, I don't like Michael Bay. I really don't. And from what I heard from Rob, like, the movies kind of contradict themselves a lot. So I'm just like, unless it's the, like, 80s movie or the new Bumblebee movie, which had, like, very little to nothing to do with Michael Bay, which is why it was good, um, then I probably haven't seen it, and I probably don't want to see it. Sorry. Like, again, if you like it, that's cool. I don't mind. It's just, it's not my jam. It's not something I've seen. It's not something I'm particularly interested in seeing. The last night has been sitting on my, sitting in Hulu tempting me, and I'm just like, I know you're there. I see you. I'm not gonna watch you, but I see you. I see you there. I'm like very much chill about like what other people like if they like something that I don't like. Because you know what? They are allowed to like a thing that I don't like, so long as it's not, you know, something that infringes on the rights of other people or, you know, is about killing an entire group of people, then that's fine. What I'm basically saying is fuck Nazis, but you know. Not in the fun way. Yeah. But other than that, I think, you know, you're allowed to like what you like. In this series, I like to see Skyfire and Starscream. Sorry, because they were friends who ripped apart because war. Yeah, I mean, like, that was how they were in the, in the original 80s show. Was that's how they were in the show, and I was like, oh, that's cute. So I kind of like them as a couple. But yeah, most of my Transformers knowledge is from Beast Wars because that's what I grew up with, and then from the IDW comics and from the newer cartoon series. Like, I have seen all of Rescue Bots. I've not seen Rescue Bots Academy, but I've seen all of Rescue Bots. It's cute. I'm not even gonna, like... No, it's cute. Not an excuse. It's cute. I like it. I'm not gonna lie about it. I like it. It's a good show. There's stupid adult jokes cleverly hidden in there, and I appreciate them. I've seen most of Robots in Disguise 2015. I saw the new Bumblebee movie, which was funny because I saw it with my mom, and she doesn't like animated stuff, and then I had to explain Transformers to her on the ride home. I'm like, why did you want to see this movie then? It got good ratings. And I'm like, Mom, why do you just want to watch movies that got good reviews? Why is that your estimation about what makes a good movie? Well, because clearly they know what they're doing. I'm like, oh, Mom. Oh, Mom. Yeah, so we went to go see the Bumblebee movie with my mom, and then, you know, I had to explain Transformers to her in the car on the ride home, which got fun, by the way. Yeah. Like, oh my god, no, explaining like the original series and stuff of Transformers to my mom was real funny. Like, so funny, because she kept saying stuff that, like, and I swear to God, she was, like, never been involved with Transformers. Like, she was in college when it came out, and I wasn't born yet, because I was born in 1990, and, like, when I was a little kid, it was always Beast Wars, so I got, like, Dinobot and Rat Trap and Optimus Prime, or the Optimus Prime that was that was a gorilla, which I had to keep explaining is not a monkey, he's an ape. So the argument is not ape versus truck, it's not truck not monkey, or monkey not truck, it's ape not truck. Well, I mean, the Dinobots are cool, but also Dinobot. Because, yeah, in Beast Wars, you had Dinobot, who was basically Starscream, but he decided he was gonna join the Autobots on the first episode. I love Beast Wars. Beast Wars is great because this is a bunch of people who didn't know anything about Transformers writing Transformers. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I love Rat Trap. Rat Trap is great. And I had the biggest crush on Tigertron growing up. I thought he was the best. I was really obsessed with tigers. And I feel so bad about Waspinator. Oh, I love Beast Wars. So no, that's what I grew up with, and then like, I kind of fell out of Transformers because there wasn't really like anything in the States after that except for like Armada, and by that time I was in on Sailor Moon, so why would I want to like go back to watching a thing that wasn't about what I liked about Transformers and was now something else when I could be focused on all the pretty girls in their short skirts. But he died right after the fight with the Tokusatsu Americans. I mean, I think so. I can't remember. I have to go back and rewatch it again. I started rewatching it. We have all the episodes on DVD now. Not Beast Machines because fuck you, Dan Didio. But we do have all the episodes of Beast Wars on DVD, and we meant to go back and rewatch them, but we got distracted by other stuff. So, and I don't really want to watch the episodes without all of my roommates. And our schedules have gotten kind of crazy, so now we can't all sit down and watch and like binge watch stuff like we used to, which I miss. Because we did sit down and we all binge watched Transformers animated together, like shortly after I moved in. It was after I'd finished Transformers Prime, and I was like jonesing for more Transformers stuff because I was like, Transformers Prime was great. I have the biggest crush on Ratchet, and I don't know why. And Knockout is my fave, and also Starscream. And basically, I love everyone. Please give me more. God, I loved Prime. Prime was really good. I loved Knockout. I was very surprised to learn that that was his first appearance because I was like, but he's so great. Yeah. No, like, I was born in 1990, so, like, all of my stuff growing up was, like, Sailor Moon and Powerpuff Girls and X-Men and the Batman animated show. Yeah. TFU was the hottest one. TFU was great. And Transformers animated was really cool. I actually, if I had to pick a favorite Megatron, I'd probably pick the one from Transformers animated, just because he came off like such a mafia boss. And I think I really appreciated that. Oh, I gotta tell you though, I hate the Swindle from Transformers animated. And it's not even the show's fault because he's so well written. He's so very much Swindle, but he's voiced by the same guy. Oh, who does like a bunch of other stuff, and I'm just like, every time I see Swindle now, my roommate just does the voice, and it freaks me out, and I have to have a moment because I'm like, no, I've seen some raunchy drawings of Swindle, and now it's that voice stuck in my head, and it's wrong. It's so wrong. It's very wrong. So very, very wrong. Megatron is really cool. Like I gotta say, my problem is like, I think everyone is cool / hot, so my stupid brain is like, yes, Megatron, but also, and then my stupid like multi-shipper brain is like, you know what? I'm with you on this, but hey, what if they were all together? And I'm like, oh no. Yeah. I have a problem, and my problem is I can't stop shipping everyone with everybody else, and also being like, I like that character, and that character, and that character, and also that character. Like, just all the characters. I like all of them. They are all of my favorites. Like, before I started my badly drawn Starscream blog, I think my actual intention was to do a badly drawn rung blog. And then, like, right around that time where I was like, yeah, I should do that, these two badly drawn rung blogs popped up, and I was like, you know what? No, they're doing a really good job. I wouldn't want to hone in on that. Plus, it would be harder to stand out with two other rung blogs already on the scene. So I was like, you know what? I'll just pick between Tailgate and Starscream, and I wound up with Starscream because I knew him better, and also I could draw him a lot easier. Drawing Tailgate is hard for me. I have a real bad time with squares. I have a real hard time with, like, blocky stuff and squares. I don't know what it is. I think it's I don't know. There's just this part of my brain that just really does not like squares. Back to talking about my art school. When I was going to art school, one of my illustration teachers got pulled out halfway through the semester because because all of the teachers at the Academy of Art University are professionals. They also do their own professional stuff on the side as well as teach. So my art teacher that I started with got really busy with his art job, so they called in somebody else to finish off the rest of the semester, and he was really into cubism, which is painful for me to just even look at. So for me to draw it was, like, physically impossible. I kept getting migraines in the middle of class trying to draw people in squares, because people are not squares. They're not. They're, like, at most a triangle. At most. And that's if you're a guy. Like, I'm just like, no, people aren't squares, though. People are cones and round shapes. There's no real squares, except maybe hands and feet. Maybe. And so the teacher's getting mad at me because he's like, you're not drawing squares. And I'm like, look, if you want me to draw squares, you also want me to throw up in the middle of class, because that is what's going to happen. And he didn't believe me, and then one day it happened, and I was like, see, I told you, it's physically painful. I don't know why, it just is. It just is physically painful for me. I don't know why. I don't know, it's why I can't play Minecraft. I would love to play Minecraft. It's like all the things I love in a game. Because the same stuff that you have in Minecraft got imported into, like, Skyrim with the Hearthfire DLC, and I love that DLC, because I love just having a house, and, like, farming to build up the house more, and, like, going mining to build up the house more. So ideally, I would love Minecraft. I also love Stardew Valley, for the same freaking reasons. And it's like, Minecraft is basically that, minus the romance. And I'm like, I would love that game if it weren't for the fact that it is all squares. It is nothing but squares, and it hurts me. It hurts me. It sets off my motion sickness, and it makes me want to throw up. And, which is a shame, because, like, otherwise, I would really enjoy that game. There's just nothing about it I would not enjoy, except for the fact that everything is squares. Like, eat a Snickers. Yeah, I like that Starscream is dramatic, though. I'm gonna be honest. He's always been a dramatic little, bot. Been having some really bad, like, recall lately. I've been having some really bad depression brain. Not being able to recall, like, words and junk. What else have I been doing? I've been going back and rewatching Lucifer because it got picked up by Netflix and the new season should be coming out fairly soon. So I'm like, I should catch up on Lucifer. It's a good show. I would like to remember what's happening when the new season comes out. So I should rewatch it. I love Lucifer so much. It's like everything I've always loved in a show. Because it's like, it's both a cop drama and there's supernatural aspects and everybody is slightly gay. Like, it literally has everything I've ever wanted in a show. I'm like, there's Christian mythology, and then you have like romance drama, plus it's a cop drama, which intrigues the part of my brain that likes a mystery. And also likes cop dramas. So I really like Lucifer. It's a good show. It's on Netflix. Everyone should watch it. And I like that Lucifer is canonically bi in the show, and it's not portrayed as like as an issue. Like, he's clearly attracted to the female character, but like they don't ever like ignore the fact that he's bi. Like, he actively gets flirted with and flirts with both men and women on the show. And like, it's never played off as like, oh, it's funny because, you know, they're like, he's also attracted to Lucifer. It's like, no, it's like, no, it's just a thing. And I really like it. I think it's great. And then you have Maze, who is also bi. And that's never played for laughs either. It's just, you know, it's a part of just who they are. And I think that's really cool. And I really like that. And it's like, the longer the show went on, the more characters came out as like just bi. And I'm like, this is great. I love this. More and more people are bi. And this is how a lot of shows should be. I like this. This is great. Oh, it was just very enjoyable. Because it's weird because my brain tends to go, as far as like characters are concerned, it tends to go, that character is asexual until like otherwise acted upon, I guess. Like, my brain just goes, that person is asexual until proven otherwise. You know, and then in most shows, oh, turns out they're straight, but my brain goes, no, they bi. What? No, bi first, then straight. Why do you assume bi first? Well, because I've seen them attracted to one gender. Yeah? That doesn't mean they're not attracted to another gender. It just means they're attracted to that gender. So, yeah. And I'm fairly certain that's because I've got a bias because I'm pansexual, but still. I'm still very, very much convinced that all characters are bi or pan unless otherwise stated not. Like, if a character says they're straight, fine, they're straight. But for the most part, my brain goes asexual, bi, straight, gay. And that's only if, like, the gay romance interest doesn't come out first. I did not. That's fun. Hello. I am not a girl. I am a bigender person. Which gets interesting. think maybe that's why, like, when I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Rosa came out as bi, my brain was like, no, that makes sense. Maybe it's also just because, like, I'm bi, so I can, like, recognize the signs of it when they start doing it for characters and shows, but, like, also I just really appreciated it because I'm like, yeah, no, I like that. That's nice. Those are so freaking hard to draw. Don't want that I'm awake at this time. Well, then you should probably be going to bed, because it sounds like it's best your bedtime. Don't stay up just on my account. You should get some sleep. Sleep is good, because if you go without sleep for too long, you go crazy. That's just a proven fact. True facts which are true. You go without sleep, you go crazy. I should know. I've done it. It sucked. Like, I think the first time was when I came. I had this exchange trip in between in the summer in between high school and middle school. I had this exchange trip where I went to Japan and I stayed with a host family for 10 days. After I had a Japanese student come and stay with me and my family for 10 days. So I have heard of the Russian experiment. That is just a creepypasta. It's not real. It is not a thing that ever actually existed. Sleep studies have been done, and a lot of the stuff that they used to make that creepypasta have come from experiments conducted by the UK military and the US military when they were doing stuff on LSD and mustard gas. But the Russian sleep experiment is not an actual thing that happened. It is just a creepypasta that somebody made up for the internet. But staying awake for very long periods of time does actively affect your brain chemistry. And it can actually cause you to go insane. But not in the way that most people think. Like, it mostly leads to, like, first aggression, and then you get paranoia, and then delirium before finally your body just starts shutting down. But yeah, so anyway, when I was coming back from Japan, I got real jet lag because I wanted to fall asleep on the plane, but I couldn't because my friend was on the plane with me and she kept me awake the whole goddamn time. And then when she finally went to sleep, I couldn't because, like, she'd been keeping me up the whole time. And I have a hard time staying awake on planes, period. So it wasn't great. I was very sleepy. I was not having a good time. It was a 14-hour goddamn flight, nonstop from Japan to LAX. So I was not having it. It was not a good time. And I got back home, and my sister was like, oh no, you gotta stay up in order to cure your jet lag. You know, you can't go to sleep, can't go to sleep, can't go to sleep. So by the time it was 48 hours that I had been awake, I was mad at everything. I kept, like, standing in place, staring at the fridge, because I'd forgotten why I was there. And basically I would start, like, yelling out of nowhere because I was just angry for being awake. Because when I'm tired, I'm very angry. Which is a symptom of not getting sleep, is you basically just get aggressive. So, yeah, I was, like, yelling and not at all having it, and I would, like, stare at the fridge for no reason, And so my mom was like, why are you still up? Have you gone to sleep? No. Go to sleep. But Heather said I should stay up. Nope. You had a 14-hour flight and you have now been awake for over 24 hours. Go to sleep. And then when I was in art school, during my midterms, I didn't get a lot of sleep then either. And it basically resulted in me just breaking down crying for no good reason. Like, just absolutely bursting into tears. Because I now get these no-hold-barred fights with my roommates because they were keeping me up. Especially the one roommate who would get mad if I had to work on a project and I had the lights on, and she would get down off the bed, walk across the room, and turn off the lights. And I'm like, I have to work on my project. This thing is due in 4 hours. And she goes, well, go out in the hallway and do it there. No, I can't. The RA will get pissed at me, as was what happened the last time I did that. Well, your lights the lights that are on could give me a seizure. I'm like, you are literally asleep, so that's not happening. Just go the fuck back to sleep. Oh, I did not have good roommates in college. I really did not. They were not, one of them was a really nice person, and one of them was never there, and then the other one was a bitch. Who, like, never cleaned up after herself and took up, like, way too much space. And I gotta tell you, like, our dorm was basically an old, it was an old hotel room that they had retrofitted, or an old hotel building that they had retrofitted into being dorms for, you know, nothing but girls, because I was in an all-girl dorm. And, like, the first couple of floors were all these shared rooms. You would have 4 girls to a room. Sometimes it was just 2, but for the most part, it was 4 girls for a room. So that was the cheapest, because it was a private school. And, you know, so you would have 4 girls in one room. We're all on bunk beds. There are no walls. Just 4 bunk beds. And, like, you know, you got to keep your stuff in a wardrobe. And I got there last. My wardrobe was all the way across the room in a wardrobe by the door. And my desk that I got to work on was, again, all the way across the room by the door. I didn't get to have any of my stuff near my bed because I got there last. And I got last pick. But my roommate, I'm going to call her Elle, all of her stuff was right next to her bed, her desk, and her wardrobe, and her set of drawers. They were all next to her bed. And so were the other 3 girls. Like, all of their stuff was fairly close to their bed. And for one of them, it didn't matter because she was, like, never there anyway. She was always off with her boyfriend. But my stuff was, like, all the way across the room. So what we ended up working out was that I got more floor space than anybody else because I had, like, less space next to my bed. So they were like, yeah, no, clearly you deserve more floor space. And I was like, thank you. But I ended up losing out on space because Elle would take over the entirety of the floor space when she was doing her projects and then just never clean up after herself. So there would be all of these markers everywhere and all of this paper everywhere and her clothes everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not particularly neat, and I especially wasn't at that point in time. And so I wound up being the neatest person in the room, which was crazy. Especially to my mother, who came and she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm the neatest person in this room. And it was even worse because this was a private school and they had people who would come in and vacuum the room once a week. But if you hadn't picked up your stuff off the floor so that they could vacuum, they would charge you $100 per violation. And they would charge the room. So it wasn't like, okay, good night, get some sleep. We'll watch this later. Yeah, anyway, so she would like So they would come in and they would charge the room $100. So everybody in the room would get charged $100 if you didn't have your stuff picked up off the floor. Which just wasn't fair because me and the other two roommates had our stuff picked up off the floor whenever the ladies came to vacuum, but Elle never did. And so, like, I was like, look, I'm not getting charged $100 for your crap, and I'm sick and tired of picking it up for you. If you don't have your crap picked up off the floor, you are paying the $100 bill that we're all going to get. Because I'm not paying for it. I didn't make this mess. My stuff is picked up. I was like, oh my god, I finally understand what my mom was like griping all the time. This is ridiculous. It sucked. Basically, all I'm saying is pick up after yourself. Your roommates will appreciate it. Or your parents. Whichever. Alright, I'm gonna try and make this look more like a snake. Because it's annoying me how much this does not look like a snake. There we go, that's much better. Much better. Okay, I like that. That looks good. Alright. So the top part and the bottom part is very Egyptian with some Aztec influence. I really like it. It looks good. So now we're going to go in and we're going to color. Yep. Just really save. Just in case. File. Let's do color palettes, desktop, artwork. Reference, color palettes. Do. Which one's got a little red? This one looks like it's got a red. Let's use this one. Yep, okay. This is a good one. Alright. So color grab, go back down here, and now we're going to go in and we're going to color. I'll go in and I'll clean this up in a minute. For the most part, I'm just trying to get the colors down. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Might need to make that a little bit more clear. Nope. There we go. And I'm going to get red stripe right here because as a bot, he is red. Just over. Oh, stomach, why? Why are you making noises? And I'm still going to make him fairly dark skinned, but I'm going to give him red hair. Now, if I'm going to give him red hair, I'm not going to give him that color red hair. Image. Color palettes. Hair. Nope, this one. Just so I can differentiate between what is furs and what is hair. No, that's not. Hey, Seaberry, what's your favorite meal? That sounds delicious. I'm glad you got something cooking. I'm hoping this year Rob lets me cook for St. Patty's Day, 'cause he didn't last year, and I got mad. I wanted to cook for St. Patty's Day. I wanted to make Guinness stew. And we wound up having a brisket, which is fine, I guess. But it wasn't Guinness stew. Chicken fricassee. Oh, hey. Well, chicken fricassee is good. I like chicken. Chicken is good. Although, one of the blogs I follow has been posting these pictures of her pet chickens. God damn, it's so cute. Like, don't get me wrong. One day I might own chickens. And they will be adorable. And then when they get old and die, I'll eat them. It's got rice, chicken, baby sweet peas, carrots, mushrooms, almond hollandaise sauce. Damn, that sounds tasty. I mean, I don't particularly like hollandaise sauce, but I think that's just because I don't particularly like mayonnaise. And by don't particularly, I mean I don't like mayonnaise. But again, I appreciate that other people appreciate it. Save. Just gonna check how long I've been streaming here for a second. I've been streaming, for nearly 2 hours. Okay. So, once it hits, 5 o'clock here, I think I might call it a day. My throat is starting to hurt. I've been, having some issues with my voice here lately, recently. Because of my hormone condition, so sometimes my hormones act up and my voice will hurt because my vocal cords are being affected by my hormones. It's like going through puberty, but constantly. And it hurts. It's either that or it's my tonsils flaring up for no good reason again. Because my tonsils legit have no chill. They're like, I sense a thing! It's some kind of foreign body. I don't know what it is. I think I'm gonna nuke it. It's like, okay, it's like if you're getting mugged, and instead of, like, pulling out, and the mugger has, like, a knife, right? And instead of, like, pulling out a knife in response, you pull out, like, a mini nuke launcher instead. And then, instead of letting the guy back off, you just fire it in, like, full range of yourself. That's my tonsils. They're overactive bastards, and they swell up like nobody's business for no good reason. It's fine. It's fine. They're doing their job. Technically, my tonsils are doing their job. They're just doing it too well, to the point that it hurts. But yeah. And I mean, if it's not them, then it's my vocal cords straining, because I have this hormone condition, and it's like my hormones fluctuate, and when they go too far, one range or the other, my vocal cords try to adapt, and it hurts. And it's basically like going through puberty. I was trying to talk to Mikella the other morning, and my voice cracked like a boy's. Like, the pitch just full on changed halfway through through my sentence, and she was like, "I'm trying not to laugh. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "It's fine. Laugh. I know it's funny." I know my pitch changed like I was a 12-year-old boy right in the middle of that sentence. Yep, so I got that going on. Fun times. And I love it how, like, when you talk to people about, like, stuff like this, they've always got, like, some opinion and they're, like, always so much more so convinced that they know how to fix your problem better than your freaking endocrinologist and doctor can. Like, I was getting my hair cut by some new chick because my old hair salon closed down, and my hairdresser did not tell me where she went, so I had to find a new person. It made me very sad. I miss my hairdresser. I miss you, Wendy. Please come back. And she was telling me about how, like, if I just cut out gluten, it would fix everything. And I'm just like, nope. And she's like, everyone's sensitive to gluten. I'm like, we're really not. We're really not. It's just people with gluten sensitivity. And then she called people who have a gluten allergy lucky. And I'm like, dude, that's Crohn's disease. Have you ever seen people with Crohn's disease? They're not lucky, man. I've seen it. It's not great. A lot of them get parts of their intestines removed. I wouldn't call that lucky. So I'm like, please don't talk about my health. I'm already on a specialized diet. I would rather not be on one that is even more restrictive, because it already sucks as is. And the thing is a lot of the, like, anti-gluten diet is really high in cholesterol, like the bad kind of cholesterol, which I can't eat because it makes my hormones go crazy. Because, that is something that my endocrinologist fucking spent time with to prove. I mean, if you have celiac disease, that means you were allergic to gluten. So, I mean, maybe. But you should really get that stuff diagnosed by a doctor, because people don't always know what they're talking about. Unless they're actual specialists in the field, I don't necessarily trust them. I made her GF cheddar garlic biscuits once. Yeah. What happened? Oh, I swear I'll do better. But she liked them. Oh, that's nice. Like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a gluten-free diet. It's just I don't need to be on one. Please don't try to force that on me. I will not appreciate it. So don't do the thing. That's all I'm saying. That is literally all I'm saying. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that I don't need to be on one, so stop trying to push that on me. It's the same thing with vegan stuff. I'm like, don't try and make me a vegan, because I gotta tell you, it's probably not gonna work. I tried going vegetarian once. I like meat too much. I'm sorry. I just do. I also don't see a problem in eating meat, so yeah. Like, I'm all for eating less meat, but like, no, I'm not gonna go full vegan. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna happen. Trying to imitate what I do at work with our biscuits and failing miserably. Aww. That's okay, Seaberry. The first part of getting sort of good at something is failing miserably at it. Thank you, Jake the dog. Oh, I did finally finish Adventure Time, which is a good show. I like Adventure Time. Adventure Time is pretty neat. I really like it. I think Adventure Time is cool. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna give Red Strike some freckles though. Even though I'm gonna make him way more tan than I am, I'm still gonna give him freckles because I think A, first of all people have freckles, and B, I really like it when people with like darker skin have freckles. I think it's cute. I think it's because I'm like, haha, see, I'm not the only one who gets them. Just because I can't tan doesn't mean I'm the only one with freckles and red hair. Because I'm not. There are people with dark skin who get red hair. I'm just saying. There's a whole group of people in Japan with red hair. My mom's a redhead. She took a DNA test and found out she's 11% Irish. See, that's not a big surprise. But, I mean, I bet she has more Scottish in her than Irish, because Scotland has a larger percentage of redheads than Ireland does. And also, like, a bunch of people from Scotland got seeded into Ireland, basically to make it more quote-unquote civilized, because, you know, the Brits are, like, not great like that. So, yeah. I mean, she didn't mention any other numbers, but she's mostly German. Yeah. Yeah. My dad's side is, Swedish. So, you know, like 2 generations back, we're in Sweden. So like that's fun, but I think my grandma's side of the family is like originally French or something, because they came out this way from Louisiana originally. My friends are like, "How do you know that means she's French?" I'm like, because the French freaking had Louisiana first. And her name is Hollister. which is not exactly very British. Cool, 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 cool. Yep. And my dad's side is like fairly well cemented with the Swedish, and then my mom's side is Irish, Scottish, with I'm sure some British thrown in, but for the most part they're Irish, Scottish, which is fun. And my two clans are the Armstrongs and the Cummings, which is just funny. Have you been enjoying the new Scottish Pokemon memes popping up? I have! I think they're hilarious. I think it's great. I think it's pretty funny. I love the British ones too. Because those ones are they're just great. Yeah, I enjoy them. I gotta say, I really do. I kind of enjoy all Pokemon memes though, if I'm honest. I just find them funny. Oh no, she's Scottish. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I enjoy it. I think it's neat. I love the ones that are like, the queen is totally gonna be a boss. And I'm like, that would be hilarious. Like, all of her Pokemon are corgis. I enjoyed that. I thought that was neat. Because I think that's like the one thing I enjoy the most about so I've been to Scotland, and Scotland was fun. It was fun to go to. I had fun there. It's a neat place. And I think one of the best things that I like about it is just everyone in Scotland has like, well, not everyone, but they all seem for the most part to have a really good sense of humor. I mean, the same, you could say the same thing about Ireland, or at the very least, they had the same kind of sense of humor that I have, and I think that might be because of the way I was raised. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy that stuff. Um, I was at my mom's and I got mad because season 2 of Dairy Girls is not available on Netflix yet, which I got mad about because I'm like, isn't it a Netflix show? Why the hell isn't it available on Netflix? Why the hell's the UK getting it before me? I want to see this show. Because Dairy Girls, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Please watch it. It's so funny. It's about these teenage girls growing up during what has to be like the end, near the end of the Troubles in Londonderry, or Derry, uh, depending on your persuasion, which they actually talk about in the show, which is great. But it's a comedy, and I just kind of love it because like the issues between the IRA and and the Protestants is like, it's just in the background. It's just treated as like some stupid stuff that goes on, and the rest of the comedy is mostly just these girls being terrible. And it's great. I love it. I think it's amazing, and it's so funny. Um, and there's a bunch of 90s references, which I appreciate because I too was a 90s child. It's just kind of like very dark humor, and I think that's why I appreciate it so much. And not dark in the sense of like gross out humor, but just dark in the sense of like, well, yeah, there's all this tragedy going on, but the real comedy is that we tricked this priest into thinking we'd all seen some miracle. when really it was just a dog peeing on the statue of the Virgin Mary. Like, that kind of stuff. I appreciate that kind of humor. Or something else that's really funny in the show is that one of the girls has a cousin that's from England, and just everybody hates him. Just everybody. It doesn't matter who they are, they just all hate him, and I'm just like, this poor kid, I feel so sorry for him, but also it's just really funny. Yeah, Derry Girls is hysterical. It does take place in like the mid-90s. It's like, it's not early 90s. It's like mid-90s, and that's what makes it even better. Oh my god, I love the like main nun. She's hysterical. She cracks me up. I love it. Like, no, but like that just it's just like, that is like true Irish humor. Is just like, well, yeah, there's this dark stuff going on, but who cares? Because, you know, this thing is happening. I think it like takes place 94 or 95, which I count as like the mid 90s. And that's like near the end of the Troubles. And because I've been to Londonderry. I was there, I want to say 3-4 years ago now. And officially the Troubles have ended. If you ask people in Belfast, you know, you get a different answer, but it's definitely older, like over in Londonderry, and it's very interesting to see because it's I know it's not actually a Netflix show, but I like was convinced it was because it was like shown only on Netflix and not like the BBC or something. But yeah, I really need the second season to come out in the US because I need to see the rest of the show. It's just so great. It's so funny. And I love that one of the girls comes out as a lesbian. The wee lesbian. Oh, it's a great show. I love it. I really recommend it to basically everyone. People should watch it. It's a good show. I mean, if you're not into like dark humor, then you know, I can see why people wouldn't be interested. But I really like it. I think it's funny. Netflix says it's a Netflix original, but the second season is airing live on Channel 4 in the... Yeah, see, yeah, that's it. It's like it's airing as a Netflix original on Netflix, but season 2 is out and it's airing on like Channel 4 in the UK, and I'm like, what? Damn it, give me my show! I want to see the next season! Why is the UK getting it before me? So, yeah. I'm a little agitated because I'm like, I want to watch it. It was so good. I don't understand. Yes. Hi, ArchCon. I'm glad you joined us near the end of my stream. I'm about to head off now, actually, because my throat is starting to really hurt me. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to zoom out. This is what I've been working on. And I'm just going to save this. And oh boy. Yeah, I'm sorry you came in at the tail end, but my throat is just, it's really killing me. I woke up this morning and my vocal cords were like, hi, hello. Remember how like sometimes we just randomly hurt because your vocal cords are deepening and shit? And I'm like, no. And then my voice breaks. So it's like, it's not that I'm sick. It's just that sometimes, randomly, for no good fucking reason, my vocal cords decide that they're gonna be a jerk. It's either that or it's my tonsils, because my tonsils always take the nuclear option when dealing with potential foreign bodies entering myself. My body is very rude to me. Alright. So this has been fun, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. If you'd like to support us, remember to subscribe or follow us if you're on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. You could also join us on our Discord, support us on Patreon, or buy something from our Teespring shop. Should have some new stuff up there soon. And in the meantime, you could also, if you would like to commission me, you can contact me on Tumblr at red'sxart.tumblr.com. Hopefully there should be more links up soon that include all of the links to all of my different art social media. I'm on Twitter, all that good stuff. And you can, or just contact me through our Discord. Remember to @ me in the Discord. And you can contact me about a commission, because I do take those. So this has been fun, and I hope to see you guys next time. Hopefully we will be getting back on schedule here soon. We got a little bit off because it was my birthday, and I was celebrating my birthday, so I had to go home for a little bit and visit my mother and all that jazz. But my birthday's over. I'm a year older now. I'm 1 year closer to 30. Oh god. And yeah, so we will see you next time. Hope you guys had a great time, and yeah, okay, bye bye.